Morning, guys. That's my view from my bedroom window. It's nice, isn't it? It's lovely. There used to be another tree to the right, but it blew over in the wind. But yeah, it's a nice view, isn't it? Busy road, but lovely view. Wanted to show you that anyway. Morning, guys. Can you hear that with the traffic? Just showed you the view from my window, didn't I? I'm just going to shut the window. Just while I do my little video. So, hello. Welcome back. Welcome if it's your first time here with me. My name's Janine. I'm 54 and I always get a bit flummoxed when I say all this. Sounds a bit repetitive, but if it's the first time you're here, then I suppose it's important, isn't it? So I look at my eating journey, my implants, getting them removed very soon. Cece, my dog. She's French, bulldog. My grandson Thomas, my family, my friends, and just chit-chatting all things general. You know, I go off on a bit of a tangent sometimes. I lose my way, but just part of it is to show that we're all human and, it's nice to be nice and it's nice to be kind to yourself and love yourself and give yourself a big hug. So, yesterday I came on, didn't I, and talked about the way I was feeling out of control with me eating and all that, and my diet is really, really important. So I was thinking last night, I just thought I'll just give you a timeline just so you know of how everything happened. So prior to me going into therapy, which was October 2023, I really, really struggled with mental health. And I think the main part of it was self-persecution. I was constantly persecuting myself. So I went into therapy in October 2023. And it was high-intensity therapy. It was very, very good. It was very, very difficult. I had to, face up to a lot of home truths about myself. But what it did bring me back to is the main focus was talking to me inner child and having a relationship with me inner child and learning to be kind to myself and non-judgmental to myself, and all these things that had been indoctrinated into me to challenge them and think, well, actually no, that's not right. So don't get me wrong, I still have me days where I can't do it, I don't want to do it, I feel like I can't cope. But what I haven't had since October 2023 is a nervous breakdown. So for me, it's just been an absolute amazing thing that I've done. And for anyone that, for any reason thinks about therapy, I think therapy and counselling are different. I've had counselling. I think counselling, in my opinion, says to you, there, it's going to be okay. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't get into the nitty-gritty. We went into the nitty-gritty. We looked at the fight or flight mode, the vicious circle of anxiety, and got loads of tools that I still use now, and was said to me that this is something you're gonna have to practice for the rest of your life, Janine. You can't just do it and then the next day you think, yeah. And it has massively helped me. So I had that in October 2023. It was the beginning of October 2023. The day after Boxing Day 2023, I decided to give up alcohol, and because I used alcohol as a tool to be able to express myself, because I couldn't speak my truth when I was sober. So if I had a glass of wine, it made me more fluent, but sometimes that all came out wrong and it caused me nothing but trouble. Did I drink all the time? No, I didn't, but I liked a glass of wine. So that was that. So that was day after Boxing Day 2023, and since then I haven't had a drink. And then it was May. So I was overweight. So I was dealing with, did I find it hard to give it up? Do you know what? It was one of the easiest things I've ever done. And I don't take that lightly, because I had an emotional dependence on alcohol. But, I something just clicked in my head and I just thought, right, I'm stopping doing it. All the times when I think, I'd love a little drink, of course there are, but I know it's no good for me. It doesn't bring out the best in me, and it certainly affects me mental health, so it had to go. So that was that. So then in the May, I decided I was going to start looking at, what I was eating. I'd lost a bit of weight by then, but I was going to start looking at what I was eating. And then in July, I started full hell for leather. I thought, right, ultra-processed foods and sugar, that's what I'm going to look at. So that's the journey. October 2023, I had my therapy. Christmas 2023, I decided to give up alcohol. The May 24, I was, looking at me diet more closely. And then the July 2024 is when I went bang and I just went into it. I went into a rabbit hole. So just thought I'd give you that little bit of I'm quite nervous, so I'm playing with my foot. Because it's deep, this, to talk about, but, we can use things as crutches, can't we? And I have for a lot of my life, I suppose, that, my eating, for many, many years, that was controlled. I was always very slim. And then and my mum and dad died within 12 weeks of each other, and I just that was in 2018, July 2008, is it 18? Yeah. And it just my head fell off, and it was like, no. And a lot of other things, which I won't go into, but the main focus for me was, once I'd had that therapy, something just clicked in my head. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it was an element of forgiveness and realising that a lot of things that had happened to me weren't my fault. So I needed to get rid of all that self-loathing, what I had. Still struggle. You've seen me on here the other week, or last week, having a wobble, but now I will talk about it. I've got good people around me, and now, instead of getting a bottle of wine from the shop, sitting there and burying my feelings down because I was, in the thinking that I'm not allowed to talk about it, I'm not allowed to speak up, you're just being a nuisance. I won't now. I listen to the people that love me dearly, and say, it's okay to talk, Mum, or it's okay to talk, Janine. That pinging on my phone, that's my boss, who's also my friend, Laurie, and she just messaged me a good luck for today. She keeps getting the dates wrong for me getting me implants taken out, so I just messaged her back. She's like, but you know what, we have a laugh, and when you get to our age, you lose a few more of those brain cells every day. So yeah, so that's all I wanted to say, really. I've got the vets for CC today to get a little he's drinking me coffee. It's nice that I have decaf, because I do love me coffee, but it gives me palpitations if I have the other one. So Cece's got the vet. She's got to go because she needs an assessment to get her Apoquel, which is her itchy tablets to stop her itching. So we're going to walk up the vets and then walk home. Jordan's coming home today, my son from Yorkshire, and then Abigail's coming home, my daughter with the baby, Abigail lives just up the road, but so yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to that. I'm dead excited. So do you know what, like, I'm going for this operation and I'm nervous, but look at what a great things come of it. I'm going to have all my family together. Do you know what I mean? My two little children and my little grandson, and I've got our Cece here. She's sucking on a pillow at the moment, so I'll leave her to it. And you know what? It's like, from something that I'm nervous about, a good things come of it, because I get my little nigh babies home with my daughter's baby. So yeah, it's good. And yeah, I am nervous, but I feel better than I felt yesterday. And that's because I came on and I talked about it. And I would say to anyone, just talk about it. And if you get someone that poo-poos you, or you feel like they're not listening to you when you're talking to them, they're not your people. Find a person that when you say something to them, they'll sit down and, go, come on, what's on your mind? Tell me all about it. Or text, do you know what I mean? They'll listen. If you're talking to someone and you can see that they're actively thinking about something else and they're not listening to you, or they're waiting to think about what they're going to say next, then they're not your people. Do you know what I mean? And if you feel like a little bit, I've got no one to talk to, well, you can talk to me. Send me a message. I'll get back to you. Now, for the next week, I might be a little bit incapacitated, but I'll still be coming on, and I'll always get back. Do you know what I mean? Even if it's just a half. But I also say, if you can, and you do feel like it, go and get some therapy if you feel that'll help. I went through the NHS, and I had to wait a while because it was high intensity therapy, so I needed a certain type of therapist. And yet the wait was long, but it was worth it. And when I went to the doctors afterwards, it was for something else, it wasn't that, and I was speaking to the doctor, and, I said, been to therapy, and I said, it was a long wait, I said, but boy, was it worth it. And she said to me, do you know what, Janine? She said, that's what puts people off, because they don't want to wait, because they want it in the here and now. And I get that, because when I have had a breakdown, I want the help in the here and now. I want someone to make me better, like, to take me out of this, this black cloud I've got over my head. I want it now, I want the help now. Well, it doesn't always happen like that if you go through the NHS. But what I would say is, it's like, it might be a 12-week wait, but why not think, well, I'll put my name down? Because even if you look at it this way, right, if you're going to say no then and go, well, I need it now, right, then you're not going to get it now, are you? Because there's a waiting list on the NHS for any type of help. So you might as well say yeah, and in 12 weeks' time, get a phone call to say, right, we're ready to start your therapy. And you might feel better then. Obviously, I did. I felt better when it started, because I'd come through my breakdown. And believe you me, some of my breakdowns could last 3 months. Do you know what I mean? Not always, but they could. But I'd come through it. So when it came through for my therapy, I was a bit like, but I thought, no, that's not what it's about. Getting therapy is not getting the help. Of course you need help when you have a nervous breakdown in the here and now, but getting therapy is giving you the tools that you're going to use for the rest of your life to help you get and feel a little bit better when you do have moments where you feel like you can't cope. Do you know what I mean? So that's what it's about. So if you get that opportunity, get on the waiting list and just wait. What have you got to lose? You've got nothing to lose, have you? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I've gone on a tangent, as always. You know what I'm like. But I would say to anyone at all, if you've had, if you know that, it's PTSD, or you've had trauma is post-traumatic stress disorder. That's what it is. If you're triggered by a past trauma, that's PTSD. And you can fluff it up and fluff it down. Post-traumatic stress disorder is from a situation that's happened that triggers you. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's my analogy, and I'm sticking to it. People might say, well, that's not right, Janine. Well, I think it's right, and it's what gets me through. Do you know what I mean? And I know it's helped a lot of people that I've spoke to when I've said that to them, and they're like, oh yeah, you're right. Because it takes you back to that place where you was, whether it's to do with eating, anything. Like, you might have been, as a child, your mother said to you, or your father said to you, or your auntie said to you, or your uncle said to you, greedy guts. Do you know what I mean? And it's like that tiny thing can stay in your head, and it can affect you, along with other things. If you've not had the emotional support from people growing up, not because they were in the wrong, I'm not apportioning any blame, because they were having stuff going on in their life. But if you've not had that, then the triggers, do you know what I mean? And it things are a trigger for you. Like I said yesterday, because I feel so out of control with me having my operation, and I'm going under anaesthetic, and I can't cook my own food because my son's coming home. It was a trigger for me. I was losing control, and control is a big thing for me. I'm not a control freak, but I know losing control is a trigger. At least what then. So what I'm saying is, if you can, if you are someone that struggles with stuff like that, then get yourself on the NHS wait list. Do you know what I mean? And when all this happened with me breasts and me getting post-viral fatigue, it was difficult. It was very, very difficult, because I went from someone that could be gadding about all the time to staying at home, until I think now I'm sort of at a happy medium. I know how far to push myself. I sleep a hell of a lot. As soon as I sit down on the couch, I'm gone, zonked. That's why I say, what did I watch last night? Because I start watching something, and then it's like, I don't know, because I'm asleep. But anyway, but it was like, I was very, very lonely, because I was on my own. I haven't been into the office. I said Christmas last time, but I think it's around about October, November. So I've had a period where I've been in isolation, and don't get me wrong, I've got great friends. I've got amazing friends who will come round and sit with me. But that doesn't take away the fact that my life has changed. And I can say that this has happened to me, and I felt it. You know, I deserve to say, well, you know, my life changed, and there was times when I felt really, really down by it, and thought, you know, this is so hard, so hard for me to do. And sort of now I'm sort of used to it, because I think, let's see the positives, Janine. Do you know what I mean? And that's what therapy's taught me. Never mind focusing on the doom and gloom. What's the positives? What positives can you take from this? So anyway, oh God, I had something important to say then and I forgot. So, I'll have to pause you while I think. Hold on. I've remembered. So, and I didn't have to rewind my video, which is really good. So when, obviously, I was, you know, when I first got the post viral, it was, honestly, it was awful. And I remember I went to doctors, and I was going to doctors because we were trying to find out what's up with me. So, excuse me a minute. Yeah, she's just sucking on a pillow. Sometimes she sucks on my quilt, so I have to scoot the quilt away and give her a pillow, CC. And I went to doctors, and there was blood tests and because they want to find out what's up with you. You know, so, and I remember speaking to the doctor, and she said to me, you know, so how are you in yourself, Janine? And I said, I'm okay, you know. And she said to me, you're tuned in, aren't you, Janine? And that was the most amazing thing for someone to say to me, that I'd gone from being someone that I just couldn't cope with anything before my therapy. And don't get me wrong, I still get worried, I still overthink and all that, but everything scared me. I was so fearful of everything. Oh, what if I do this? What will he say if I do that? And I still have them situations, but then I get bold and I go, no, you're not going to be scared, Janine. You're not going to be scared. And I analyse it and I think, what are you scared of? What's making you fearful? And you know, the situation with CC the dog, if you watch that video, I was scared people were going to shout at me, what are you doing to that dog? That was my fear. And then I thought, no one's going to say that. And as I said to myself, if someone's shouting at me in the streets, then people are going to look at that person shouting. They're not going to look at me, little old Janine with me poochie maloochie, are they? So I can direct it back to where it should be. No, not, oh, Janine, you're so bad. Look at you, you're pulling on your dog. Oh, you're so mean. Old habits, new habits are, no, Janine, is the way you're looking at this logical? Or is this a past habit, a past experience trying to come back in? And it's a past one, because I know I would never be mean to my CC. She is my pride and joy. Do you know what I mean? But that little path that's in the head that the grass has grown over, they call them neurons, I think, it can go, oh, I want to come back, I want to come back. It's the same for anything. If you give up drinking, you give up smoking, you've got these neurons in your head, and the grass will grow over on them. And then, you know, it's the same for PTSD. There'll be a trigger, and you'll go, but it's how you deal with it. Do you know what I mean? It's how you deal with it. And yeah, I had to come on here and talk. I'll always come on here and talk. It's my platform, I can. But, you know, that's what therapy did for me. It taught me to be, come on, Janine, look at it. And it's the fight or flight mode, and it's the wheel of anxiety. If you look it up, you know, it's like the situation, what's happening, you know, why do you feel threatened, you know, like, should you stay or should you go? You know, and is it a real fear, or is it just something that you anticipate as a fear? You know, is there a tiger in front of you that's going to eat you, or is it just someone being an ass? Do you know what I mean? Or something that's happening, someone shouting or something like that. If it's not a real fear, it's just, you know, it's just something that your body in fight or flight mode anticipates to be a real fear, then you're going to stay. And then what am I going to do about it? So the next time it happens, I don't have that reaction. And you're always going to have the reaction to certain things, because there's going to be big triggers and there's going to be little triggers. But you're always going to have the reaction. It's how you deal with it. So if you haven't seen that, you know, it's the wheel of anxiety, it's called, and it's really, really good, and it tunes you in. So yeah, if you feel that it could be for you and you think, well, the NHS waiting list is too long and I can't afford therapy, because I couldn't afford therapy, it's that expensive, isn't it? Yeah, put yourself on the waiting list. What have you got to lose? Got nothing to lose, have you? Talking therapies I went with, absolutely amazing lady. And yeah, as I said to you, did he have difficult times where she said to me, well, Janine, that's not quite right. She made me own my crap as well. Do you know what I mean? So I was going to get ready, but this video is a bit long, but I just thought it's important to come on and say that if you are someone that is, you know, got a situation in your life, whether it be anxiety, depression, you know, a phobia, anything at all, then give the NHS a whirl. Do you know what I mean? And go on that waiting list. What have you got to lose? You've got nothing to lose. We've all got time, haven't we? If we think that, you know, we're here, then, you know, why wouldn't you? And yeah, I got the feeling, it's a long time to wait, but no one was going to give me therapy in the here and now. And to be fair, when I had that last breakdown, I don't think I'd have been ready for it, because I was very, very closed. I was in that, you know, the proper realms of a nervous breakdown. My cortisol levels were on the floor because I'd be, that anxiety gone boom, 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 boom. So I probably wouldn't have been able to take anything in anyway. But 12 weeks down the line, I could take stuff in. And it's changed my life. It really, really has. What else was I going to say? There's a poem. I don't think I can read it out. I hope you've got to the end of this, because this poem is really, 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 really good. And I'm sure I saved it. This poem, when I was, sorry, I should have wrote it down. Hold on, but I didn't. You know what I'm like. You know, I talk about my friend Diane, don't you, who sadly was taken from us in January 2023. Yeah, no, 24. Oh gosh, terrible with dates. Try not to think about it. I think about Diane, but oh gosh, can't find it. No, January 24, January 25. I'm just trying to think. It must have been 24. I have to pause you while I think, guys. Yeah, it was January 2023. It's just mad, the timelines, because, yeah, January 2023, the 2nd of Jan it was, 2023. I just got a bit confused then, because I thought January 23, then I gave up drinking. So I hadn't had my therapy when Diane was taken from us, but yeah, she was beautiful, and she was always there for me when, gosh, I'm a bit hot. You know, at my darkest time, she was an amazing friend, and I'll always miss her, but I'll always carry with me everything she ever did for me. I loved her dearly, and I still love her now. She's just not with me. Hopefully she's in heaven. But there is a poem that she sent to me once, and it's called The Mountain. I don't think I can read it out, but she sent it me. When I used to have breakdowns, I used to just go off and disappear from the world. I didn't want to be around anyone and didn't want to see anyone. No one could help me. I felt that bad about myself. I just closed myself off, and, you know, people are always there, but Diane was like, you know, she's like Kirsten. You know, I've got good friends, don't get me wrong, but I've got them friends that know me inside out, and know what to say to me and how to say it and when to say it. Anyway, this time, particularly a dark time, she sent me this poem, and it's called The Mountain, and it's by Laura Ding Edwards, and I don't think I can read it out on YouTube because I don't want to get a copyright. But read it. It just starts off. I can read a little bit. It says, if the mountain seems too big today, then climb a hill instead. If the morning brings you sadness, it's okay to stay in bed. And it goes on. But there's a little bit in a bit that's like reminds me of Diane so much, because that's was what we were, you know, like we were girly girls into our, you know, like just everything, you know. She's the one that first took me for Botox and fillers. Yeah, so we were girly girls together. But this bit, if you haven't washed your hair for days, don't throw away your crown. And it just goes on. Have a look at it. It's such an amazing, amazing poem. So it's called The Mountain, and it's by, I've lost it now again. If you know me, you know me. I just said her name, didn't I, anyway? So, sorry, I forgot. So, yeah, but she was, yeah, and she sent me that, and, you know, I can't remember. I vaguely remember this, but I put myself, you know, on your WhatsApp. I don't know why she couldn't ring me or something like that, but she and I've probably got this story a little bit mixed up, but this is the power of friendship. I'd put, you know, when you can see last seen on your WhatsApp, it changed, and she couldn't see that. I'd been online, and she couldn't get hold of me. So she messaged Kirsten, right, you know, me friend Kirsten, me, you know, another amazing girl, and got Kirsten to ring me, you know, so, or message me. I can't remember which one, but anyway, that's the power of friendship, isn't it? And they're the friends you want in your corner, do you know what I mean? So they're good, wholesome friends. So I'm going to go now, because I've got the vet soon. It's 8:08. I've got to leave her. Say 8:45. So I better get a wiggle on, hadn't I, and get myself ready. I'm going to have to dry shampoo my hair because it needs washing, but look. But do you know what? That's okay, isn't it? It's okay to think, well, you know, my hair needs washing, and not be so critical of myself. And the same for you, that I get myself into such a state that I haven't got it in me mentally to get a bath. Do you know what I mean? So look after yourself, be kind to yourself, and love yourself. Always, always be kind to yourself and love yourself, and take care of yourself, and cut yourself some slack. Don't be mean to yourself, okay? Remember what I said, tell them voices in your head, you know, stop it. As I said, I am Matilda, and if she starts to say, not today, Matilda, I don't always do it all the time, but, you know, that's my little tool that I use. Say, not today, Matilda, you're not being very nice. Some people might say it's a bit wacky, maybe it is, but it gets me through. All right then, guys, mwah. Look after yourself, and be kind to yourself, and take care of yourself. Lots of love. Ta-ra.